Hi, dear language learners. I am 50 years old, and after now 40 years of studying languages, of studying English, of studying French, of studying Spanish, and now Italian, here are the 6 lessons I wish somebody would have told me earlier because they have totally sped up the way in which I learn, and they have actually accelerated the fun I have with language learning, the way in which it enriches my life, and they have actually taught me that language learning does not have to be a chore. Hi, I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist, and I share with you the secrets of social psychology that actually make you speak your next language with unshakable confidence and that have you finally enjoy that process and also benefit from this mindset that actually makes you fluent. Because fluency is not about years of study, fluency is a mindset. So let's dive right in. For those of you who are new here, by the way, you can always go to my website and download the Perfect Study Routine Planner. That actually helps you to put into place a system that lets you integrate language learning in your everyday life. But now let's dive right in. So number one of my top lessons is you don't need 3 hours of study. You need 1 minute to 5 minutes per day or every second day. That gives you that kind of integration of learning a language in your everyday life. It needs to be kind of blending into your everyday life. So for example, if you already attend a language course or if you already use certain apps to study a language, split whatever you have studied in those courses or whatever you have seen in those apps, split that up and integrate it into those little chunks of time that really bring you flow and that kind of let it become part of a daily routine. So, as I just said, check out my study routine planner. That gives you a checklist of what you need to put into place to achieve that because learning becomes so much easier in that way and so much more natural and joyful. Number two, emotion and experience boost memory. What does that mean? Emotion and experience boost memory means if you have a meaningful event coming up in the new language, this will so much boost the way in which you retain information and will so much give you an advantage over sitting there with theoretical sentences over a textbook, if you know what I mean, because your brain will actually tune into the experience, will actually want to communicate something with the other person. So that will give your brain that kind of signal, this is important, so I have to retain it. And it's completely different if you are in passive study mode, if you see a sentence on an app or if you see something in a textbook presented to you or like on a board in a language course, if it doesn't have meaning for your personal life, you will retain it as well eventually. But my point is, it's much slower because your brain will not see the relevance for your real life. And anything that has no relevance for your real life will not be retained as quickly. So you need to create also, and that is important in your study routine, you need to create meaningful events. So whenever in your real life you can have a situation where you talk to somebody in that new language, that is where your brain goes into super boost, into really accelerated learning. Now, number three is repetitions. I can't say this enough. This is one of the most frequent questions of my students, actually. If you don't speak from a very basic beginner's level regularly and do repetitions like playing an instrument, I mean, any instrument or sports teacher will tell you this, you need to practice the new instrument or the new sport. In this case, it's a new language. So it's like playing an instrument. You need to practice it. You need to repeat out loud at least 7 times. So whenever you have a phase of 5 minutes of passive study, that's fine. Try at least at the end of these 5 minutes to say one sentence out loud, because if you don't speak it, it won't stick. So this is actually one of the most frequent problems of people who end up giving up in the intermediate level. They have studied so many years, they have studied vocabulary, they are brilliant at reciting grammar rules. That's all great. But if you don't practice speaking, it won't stick. So you need to find a routine where you have practice to speak something out loud, maybe even for using it the next day in your real life, or find with one of these wonderful platforms online, find a study partner with whom you can practice the newly, freshly acquired sentences and kind of ways of speaking in the new language. That is so important. And the more I realize this, I do this currently. I mean, those of you who have joined me already on this channel for my challenge of learning Italian in the next 2 years, I do this from the very beginning. I start speaking, and as you have watched my previous videos of practicing even with ChatGPT, this is a brilliant way. I mean, the new technology gives us so much advantage to actually practice a new language, speaking it. And that is like fabulous for repetition sessions. Number 4, the routine and the systems that you would put in place in terms of having your regular study routine, that will help you to get over those days where you have no motivation whatsoever. Having no motivation whatsoever in learning is normal. It's just human. You need to accept it. It is, all of us don't have motivation on some days. So if I don't feel motivation on a day, I know I have my routine that, I don't know, in my regular walks with my dog, I actually read through a post in Italian, for example, or I speak out loud my sentence of the day, and I do it anyway. The thing is that the routine kind of tells me this is now up for you to do, and then because it's very short and small, I kind of say, oh yeah, let's do it anyway, even if I'm not motivated. And that keeps me going. It's the same like, actually, let's take again the example of a dog. A dog needs to be walked even if it's raining or if it's bad weather. And the fact that this has become a routine of caring for the dog, I do it anyway, even if I'm not motivated. And the same applies to those days when you're not motivated about your language learning. Having in place a routine and a system actually keeps you going, even though you're not motivated. And on those days, of course, that you are picking it up easily, that you're fresh, that you are feeling great about it, you keep going anyway. And the routine actually builds something that with the momentum of time, you will see after a year, for example, how much you will have achieved. Now, number 5, this is what I'm absolutely passionate about. It is the principle of simplicity. Simple beats complex all the time. The simpler you keep it in terms of working towards your fluency, the easier. I mean, you need to find ways of practicing sentences that don't put you off because they are so complex. So, for example, in Italian, I don't know yet how exactly the subjunctive works. And to be honest, I don't care at this stage because I just want to get to intermediate level, first of all. So I'd rather practice simpler sentences, first of all, and then I keep that for later. I mean, that will come with time. And that is this simplicity actually is a huge sign for myself of self-compassion because I don't need to be suffering. I'm learning. I want to learn this. So this should be something that is enjoyable. And also, its simplicity creates something that creates these success moments. So whenever you have a simple sentence that you can already use with people who speak the language, that makes you feel, oh, I can speak. And this I can speak sends a message again to your brain that it says, oh, it's actually easy, I can do it. And that creates well, it creates a domino effect, doesn't it? Because the next day you will say, oh, I actually can do it, so let's keep going. And that will keep a positive mindset going that actually your brain links to that experience. And anything that is positive, you will keep going. And that is the 6th and the last lesson I learned. Anything with a positive mindset will keep me going. So if you observe yourself when you talk to fluent speakers, if you say something like, I, I don't even want to say it, but anyway, if you say stuff like, sorry, I can't speak the language yet. Let's rather talk in English, or I'm sorry, I don't understand because I'm still learning. That will put you into a negative spiral. Don't do that. Say sentences like, oh, great, let's practice your language. If you don't mind, let's speak in your language. I will try. If you could speak very slowly, and whenever I make a mistake, please correct me. That is positive because you give a sign to the other person that you want to engage in the new language. You're saying as well that you're still learning and you allow the other person to correct you. So that sets you up for a positive reinforcement loop that actually keeps you in the loop of yes, I can. And also the other person will be like, oh, she is really or he is really doing an effort. Let's speak very slowly and let's correct her or him. Completely different experience to when you are blocking off at the beginning. I have that also from students a lot in courses when they come to me and they say, I ask them a sentence and they are like, oh no, I can't do that. I probably can't do that yet. I'm still a beginner. And I'm like, yeah, but what does this mean? You're a beginner? Yes, but you can say in the new language, how are you? Or I am well, thank you. So little sentences like that, you can practice speaking anyway because you can say them as a beginner. So you don't need to excuse yourself, oh, I'm a beginner, I can't speak yet. You can speak from a very basic level. You can say, hello, how are you? Are you having a good day? Thank you. These easy getting in touch phrases you can do from day one. And I think the mindset starts at this point where you give yourself permission to do so, because the self-compassion and the self-respect, giving yourself permission to be fluent already at your level, that will boost this kind of mechanism, what I said before, that self-reinforces your progress, which is having positive emotions, positive experiences, and seeing that you can actually do it. And your brain will just want to continue in that condition. So drop me a comment as always, what resonates with you the most from these 6 lessons, and also please share your experience in your language learning journey. And of course, as always, drop your languages that you're studying, because I love this platform, YouTube, as a great platform to share our experiences. So thanks for watching today and see you in the next video.